Possible side effects of biohacking. That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya. I am the author of the Ikigai Diet and Ikigai Bio-Hacking. Okay, so in the Amazon book page of Ikigai Bio-Hacking, there's a book description, and I wrote, are you interested in biohacking to live longer or optimize your performance, but are not sure about its possible side effects? Now, what do I mean by these possible side effects? Yeah, so that's something I'm going to talk about today, right? So when you talk about biohacking is such a broad term. Yeah, it includes so many different methods. Yeah, so depending on what kind of method you're talking about, it changes. Now, so I sort of divide biohacking methods to two categories. Yeah, one is more like a natural approaches, and then one is more artificial or kind of a technology based or genetic engineering related activities, right? And when I say side effects, I'm more talking about these artificial approaches, not so much natural ones, because there are very few side effects. Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, you need to be careful who is doing it and what condition you are doing it and when you're doing it too. And you need, depending on some activities such as doing a cold plunge or sauna, which can increase your blood pressure very quickly. So if you have a heart problem, for example, you need to consult a doctor before doing it. The same thing about intermittent fasting. If you do it too much, like too long, it can cause some damage, and it's also depending on how you combine it with your diet too, like what you eat. Yeah, while you're practicing intermittent fasting is very critical. For example, what do you eat when you break your fast? Yeah, if you eat some sugar, that would raise your blood sugar level very quickly. So it is better to start eating from vegetables and so on. So there are certain things you need to pay attention to, but still the side effects are very minor, and you can almost say there's no side effect. Yeah, and if there are one, and these are the type of side effects you can have anyway when you lead a regular lifestyle. When you have a regular diet, you can have all kinds of side effects. Yeah. However, this kind of artificial approaches, we are not talking about these minor ones. We're talking about major possible side effects. Yeah. For example, when you implant a microchip, yeah, into your body, right? So there's one, electric magnetic wave problem. Even when you carry a smartphone, that can be a problem. That has been talked about for many years now. And that's one of the reasons why I don't use a smartphone. But with a smartphone, you can still decide not to use it. Right. So in Ikigai Biohacking, for example, I recommend digital fast, and that is to stay away from a computer 2 hours before going to bed and 2 hours after waking up. And then, but once you implant a microchip in your body, you cannot run away from it. Yeah, you're stuck with it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah. While you're sleeping, while you're meditating, or while you are having a sauna or doing a cold plunge, it is always there. You cannot escape from it. Yeah. So what kind of consequence, yeah, does it create? Yeah, I'm not an expert on microchip and the mechanism of microchip and how that can affect in your body or so on. So I don't know. But what about if there is no physical damage, what about the effect to your soul, your kind of spiritual side and so on? Yeah, it's a still unknown world. So there are a lot of risks, and you need to think about those risks if you decide to do it. Yeah, the same thing can be said about the blood transfusion, because you are putting another person's blood into your body. So what kind of consequence does it create spiritually is one thing you want to be concerned if you are a spiritual person. Yeah. And so the other things are sort of in between, or the methods which are kind of difficult to judge, or I don't really know for sure. I mean, supplements, I've already talked about supplements in the 2 videos before. I think it was biohacking versus Ikigai Bio-Hacking. Yeah. And for stem cell therapy, I don't know enough about it to judge. Yeah. But personally, any kind of genetic engineering, a kind of altering your gene or your sort of part of your inside the body, I am skeptical about the safety or long-term consequences, but I don't know. Yeah. And for DNA test, yeah, I would personally avoid doing DNA test. Yeah. So what's wrong with DNA testing? Now, DNA testing itself maybe is okay. I mean, it doesn't have a problem. Yeah. But the question is, who controls that data? Yeah, so you cannot do a DNA test yourself, right? So basically you send your DNA data to a company or another person, and then another body, and then they check your data and they manage your data, and then they tell you your condition and so on, right? So you'll be relying upon the companies or the government or whoever controls the data, right? Most likely companies. I mean, at the moment, this DNA testings are provided by some companies, right? So the question is, do you trust those companies? I'm not saying they will do something, dangerous. Now, I'm not suggesting that, but then, yeah, are you sure? Yeah, because they can change, even though they are they're okay at the moment. Depending on the situation, it's possible for them to change. I mean, given what's been happening in the last 2 years, you know how businesses operate, and they don't always operate for the interest of the citizens, right? We have witnessed it over the 2 years, right? So that's one risk we have about DNA testing. The other thing is it necessary to do DNA testing? Because there are alternatives. There are natural ways to keep track of your condition. Yeah. So in Oriental medicine, there are many approaches to check your condition, such as checking your pulse, or if you go to see a shiatsu practitioner or acupuncturist, they can check your meridian to see the condition of each organ, or they can even look at your face and see how it is. And then we all have our own sensors, such as our feeling. I know feeling, can be subjective, and some people who actually, some people say that feeling is very subjective, and it is better to have more accurate data and numbers, something measurable, so that you can optimize it. Yeah, which can be true. Although the feelings are not only the emotional feelings. We have a physical sensations. You can kind of touch your belly to see how it is. And we have our emotional senses and our intuitive side too, like so-called your gut feeling, right? Now, they may not be accurate, but that's something we have been using, so many years. And if they are not accurate, maybe it is possible that we have lost the ability to know ourselves. Because in the past, like ancient people, had the senses to know what's happening inside of you and what's happening around you. Like I made an example of Princess Mononoke in the book, and it's a Japanese animation, and there is a main character called Ashitaka, and he kind of has a sort of sixth sense. He kind of senses before something happens. Like for example, oh, somebody's coming or something's going to happen. So like a minute before happening, he kind of senses it. And we used to have that kind of sense, but we've now lost because of the modern lifestyle. So it doesn't have to be as far as the sixth sense, but general kind of feeling to know your condition can be trained and can be practiced. And if we don't use it, we lose that sensitivity. And then the fact of using something like a DNA testing, you rely on data numbers. It can lose. It can help you. It can make you lose that kind of senses too. But instead, if you always pay attention to your physical sensations, your emotions, your intuitions, you develop that sense, and the more you practice, the more accurate you'll become of understanding your condition, right? And the other thing is, I don't think it is necessary to measure your condition every single minute. I think you can check it once every 3 months. I think 3 months is a good period because that's when your metabolism sort of changes. You can have a regular traditional medical checkup at the hospital, or you can have your stool checkup. You send your stool sample and check your condition of gut microbiota. There's so many other sort of testing approaches too. And then you can do it once every 3 months. In fact, it's a good idea to have a habit of measuring yourself regularly. But you don't need to do it every day. You don't need to do it every minute. You don't need a microchip or wearing a smartwatch all the time to constantly measuring and checking, because you'll become a little paranoid, if you do that. Well, another thing is self-sufficiency and independence. So often we talk about to be independent, it is better to be self-sufficient. That is in terms of your farming and so on. It's better to grow your own food so that you don't need to rely upon other farmers and so on. And the same thing is true about your health. It is better if you can deal everything within yourself. Using only things you have. If you have to depend on some kind of a gadget or outside help, if the approach becomes very complicated, you cannot deal with yourself. You need expert assistance. You need the company's assistance or something. So in case something happens, you are not independent. But if you make a habit of using your own resources to check everything, then you will always be independent. I mean, that's what you really want to do. One of the goal of biohacking is to be independent, to be in charge of your own body, right? And then why not use your own resources to be in charge of yourself? And it all comes down to the purpose of biohacking, isn't it? Why do you want to biohack in the first place? So do you want to biohack to stay sick-free until 120? Now, age 120 is our lifespan. Yeah, we should be able to live until this age because there has been a person who lived until 120. So it is considered to be possible. And if we don't catch unnecessary lifestyle diseases and so on, therefore, if we manage to stay sick free, and then we can live until our lifespan. Yeah, then when the lifespan comes, then we can just die. We kind of die naturally. Yeah. So, or do you want to live until 200 or until 150 or whatever the age you want to live to? Yeah. In other words, extending your lifespan. Yeah. Depending on your purpose, it changes because if you want to live until 200, maybe some of the artificial measures, like using genetic engineering can be effective, or the natural approaches may not be enough to do it. But if you want to just stay sick-free until 120, all natural approaches, maybe I think they are enough. If you do intermittent fasting and proper exercises and diet, and I'm sure you will be able to stay sick-free until the time comes. Yeah. But to do any further, you may need to do some altering. Yeah. The question is, do you want to do it? Is it necessary for us to do it? Yeah. And it also depends on your values and your views, whether you believe in spirituality or not. Yeah. Because to me, this living until 200 seems kind of very body conscious, or sort of you are thinking about your physical body. You want to stay in your body for a long time. Because if you believe in spirituality, yeah, when you die, that's not the end of your life. You'll be reborn, or you will maybe go to heaven, or you'll have another form of your life. Yeah, maybe not in the same body. Maybe you become a spirit, and we don't know. I mean, depending on your spiritual belief, it changes too. But the bottom line is, this body is not the end of your life. Yeah. So having that belief or not also changes. Yeah. And then if you believe in some kind of a spirituality, do you want to, spend your all energy into preserving your physical body, or don't you want to spend some energy into expanding your consciousness, or, spiritual growth to achieve your whatever the soul purpose you set? Yeah. And then die happily. Yeah. To be ready for the next phase of your evolution. Yeah. So that is a big philosophical question. Yeah. The reason, in fact, I did say I'm a philosopher of life. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I am not here to really talk about medicine or something. But one thing I am good at doing is to think of philosophical meaning of life. Yeah. So anyway, you need to know your purpose. Why do you want to biohack? And depending on, you can use different approaches. Yeah. But today I just wanted to share with you what I meant by possible side effects of biohacking. Yeah. And as I said, all those natural approaches, there are very few side effects. And so I hope you will become interested in biohacking and be in charge of your body. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Sachiaki Takamiya, the author of Ikigai Bio-Hacking. And if you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Live with your Ikigai.